welcome to Stonebox TV. I'm Richard. I'm here with Paul from Line 6.
Indeed.
And we are here at Frankfurt Musikmesse 2017 already. And we've got a really exciting product because it's the Helix LT.
It is.
The best thing about this is the price, I guess.
Well, the price is certainly one of the good things about that. Yeah, absolutely. So Helix LT is, I guess, I hasn't used the word light version, but it's a kind of streamlined version of the other Helix that we have. So we have the Helix Floor, we have the Helix rack as well. This is for the customer who maybe doesn't need as many of the ins and outs that the Helix Floor and the Helix rack have. So the main difference is around the back here. Like I say, less I/O. We'll get into that in a bit more detail in a second. And we don't have the scribble strips on here as well. So if you got
so for those who don't have the Helix scribble scripts, yeah, that allow you to actually name the pedal, if you like, on the foot switch, yeah?
They do, yes. So Helix Floor, you can name and color code every single foot switch on that pedal board, which is really, really nice, and it's a really good visual thing for live stuff as well. But obviously it comes at a price to Line 6 and obviously to the end user as well. So Helix LT has found a way of doing away with having those scribble strips, but also keeping that kind of intuitive interaction between the product and the player as well. So, I mean, if we were to look at the screen here, so you still have all the color coding, you still got the RGB rings around all the foot switches as well, so you can still see that you have a delay because it'll be green, or you still know you've got a modulation because it's going to be blue, so all of that remains the same on Helix LT. But when we look at the screen, we'll see we've got different views here. So we have the LCD screen will show signal path, so we can see here I've got an amp, I've got some pedals activated, I've got an amp, I've got a cab, I've got some delays and some reverb running through this as well. But if I go into this sort of performance mode, I can actually see that instead of having scribble strips, I have 8 pedals in the middle here. It corresponds with the 8 different things in the screen there as well. So if I want to go into this litigation preset, it's going to be that foot switch there. If I want to go into this vintage swell one there, it's going to be into here. And that's going to switch me through all of those. So the screen's always going to show you what you've got going on. It will also show the effects mode. So there you've got your traditional kind of stomp mode as well, where you could just set that up so it had 8 different on-off foot switches as well. But you still have the same amount of processing power. So if you're the kind of person who wanted, or the kind of player who wanted to have maybe 16 different effects on at the same time, or 32 effects on at the same time, Helix LT will also allow you to do that as well.
So the really key thing here is that you've got the exactly the same processing power as you said, which means exactly the same sound quality. You've got all the same effects and amps, which have just been updated as well, have they not?
Yes, so we've just recently updated to version 2.2. We've added a lot of extra bass sounds in there, so we have things like the acoustic bass amp, we've got the Gallien-Kruger in there, we've got ampegs in there, we've got a PS bass preamp as well, which is the one that Billy Sheehan uses, actually modeled the same as him. So there's actually a lot more bass amps for bass players in there as well, because there isn't a specific Helix bass unit, but a lot of bass players are using these as well, and now they're even better catered for because they actually have bass amps and bass effects in there as well, bass overdrives and things.
Okay, so the same sounds, a bit less I/O functionality, and we lose the scribble strips. Still really, really easy to use from what I can see, and that was the key thing with Helix Floor. It's one group tests both for its sound quality as well as its ease of use. So I've used it, and I've used it without the manual, and for me to do that is saying something. So it's incredibly easy to use, unlike some of the rival units out there where you do really need to understand the manual. So this still retains that ease of use.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the big thing that the Helix sold on those, or sells on those 3 things. It feels and plays, it's real, it feels like a real amp and it sounds like a real amp. It's smart because it's so easy to use, and part of that, like you were saying, is no doubt what you're referring to is the capacitance foot switches, where you touch the foot switch. So I mean, do this on the screen here. If I wanted to edit the delay sounds, I just fit, as long as I haven't got gloves on, as long as I'm alive, I can touch that and instantly I have the 6 different parameters for the delay. If I wanted to have the parameters for the cabinet that we've got in there, the parameters are there, so I can go in and tweak those. If I want to choose the reverb, so that all remains. You still have the capacitance sensing foot switches as well. So it really is just it's a more simplified. I want to say it's a more streamlined version of the Helix Floor and the Helix rack. And on the other side of that as well, there's a lot of guys or girls who working in the studio may have a Helix rack and they may have the Helix control. They may get a call to go and do a gig in Frankfurt, something like that. And instead of unscrewing that Helix rack and taking it out, they've got something now that they can fly with, and they can check in as well. And all the presets that they have from the rack, they will move seamlessly over to this as well. Yeah.
So, really, really, really important. 2/3 of the price of Helix Floor, and you're getting all of the same quality, all of the same amps and effects. You're losing the scribble scripts. 2 effects loops. It is. Have I said it right? We'll rewind and find out. We lose those. We lose 2 loops, but we still retain 2 external loops, correct?
Absolutely, yes. So, the Helix Floor and the rack, they have 4 different effects loops. 4 different effects loops is obviously great, and a lot of people use those to their full advantage, you know. And you can also use those as line-ins and things as well, which you can do on this as well. What a lot of people want to do is they still want to run the 4-cable method, and then maybe want to run an external pedal as well. You know, this will still allow you to do that. Not everybody needs 4 effects loops. Not everybody needs the I/O that you have on the Helix Floor and the Helix rack. You know, I don't need 4 effects loops. You know, personally for the things that I do, I don't need that. You know, so Helix LT would be a great sort of thing for me to use myself. You know.
Particularly with the quality of effects you've got built in here as well.
Absolutely. It's the same sound. So anything that I've programmed using the Helix Floor that I have, in fact, that's exactly what's happened here. You know, for demos, all I've done is I've taken the Helix Floor sounds and I've dumped them straight into this. Just used a Mac a Mac or PC, Mac in my case, to just transfer the sounds using the Helix Edit software. Moved them straight over to that and turned up here, and I was up and running with the sounds that I created at home into this Helix LT here. Yeah.
Okay, so just to summarise then, anything else we're missing other than the two effects loops and the script, those things?
In terms of the I/O, you'll lose the digital out. If we want to use the SPDIF digital out, you'd have to go to the Helix Floor or the Helix rack to use that. You also lose the microphone in. Helix will act as an interface on all of the products. So if you do want to do any home recording, Helix Floor could maybe a better solution because it has got the more input in that. But you know, not everybody needs a mic input. Not everybody needs 4 different effects loops. Not everybody needs like the SPDIF digital out as well. You know, so it just caters for two different types of customer really.
Okay, well, thank you, Paul. So that brings Helix into a whole new price point for some guitarists. For others who don't need the extra functionality of Helix Floor, they are going to save a good chunk of money. But there are still people out there for whom Helix Floor or Helix Rack will be the better solution. Both products still continue, and they're all available from us at Stompbox at fxpedal.co.uk. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.